counting, Brijesh, certain events that has happened. And to our viewers, for more than 70 days, News9 has been doing a program every day on Manipur as a matter of commitment. That's one. Secondly, Governor of Manipur came to Delhi on Sunday. Thirdly, the national highway, one of the national highways got blocked. The United Naga Council in Ukhrul has demanded restoration of peace, but what has happened in turn is that they have blocked the entire area, which is leading to a sort of a bandh in that entire area. But more important than that is the demand by the Kuki group. We have got the bite, we will play out the bite for you. We have got the release, we'll play out the release for you.
Absolutely.
The Kuki groups are saying that it's not about separate administration. It is about a separate state. Now, how correct is this demand? Because now, from more power to more state, disintegration of a state, and that too not because there is a reason to it, but it is being born out of enmity. These are the latest visuals. We have also got visuals which we are going to show you, that civilian material was being used to make weapons. Now, this is for the first time that we are witnessing. Civilian materials are being used to make weapons. You know, these are pipes, civilian pipes. These are used from electricity girders.
Well, Karthik, I would just like to button, if you look at this, the country-made pistols and how it is made, it is always made of these, utensils, jeep,
okay.
steering.
And before that, before I get into the demands of the Kuki groups, let me play out the bite of Anurag Thakur and KC Venugopal.
कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं जो देश में शांति नहीं देखना चाहते, उनमें कांग्रेस पार्टी है, उनके नेता है। अगर पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हथियार डालने का काम कहीं पर हुआ था तो मोदी जी की सरकार के समय पीस बढ़ाने का यानी कि शांति बढ़ाने का काम भी हुआ और पीस एग्रीमेंट्स भी हुए। बहुत सारे लोगों ने जिन्होंने हथियार उठा रखे तो उन्होंने हथियार डालने का काम किया है, ये मोदी जी की सरकार के समय हुआ। पिछले 10 दिनों से मणिपुर में कोई अप्रिय घटना नहीं घटी है, शांति है, और कांग्रेस अपने नेताओं को भेजकर अशांति फैलाने का जो काम करना चाहती है वो किसी को मंजूर नहीं होनी चाहिए। इसकी तो जितनी निंदा की जाए उतनी कम है।
And you all know, Manipur is burning last 75 days. One of our prestigious and most strategic state is burning for last 75 days. Not even a concrete initiative to resolve the problem so far. And the shocking one is the total silence of the Prime Minister. Last 75 days, the country is waiting for a response from the Prime Minister. He has not even uttered a single word on Manipur issues. At least a peace call to the people of Manipur is not coming from the mouth of the Prime Minister. This is a really shocking.
And though there is a political activity, Brijesh, but what is happening is, and I'll read out that paper for you because that paper is very, very important. And that paper tells you that somehow the goalposts have been shifted. We're going to put that paper out. That paper is very, very important because that paper tells us as to how goalposts have changed completely in the politics of Manipur, and that is going to create a lot of problems. When I say the goalposts have been changed, I mean that certain things have shifted. For example, the Kuki Inpi Manipur in a press communique on 13th of July stated that Kuki Inpi Manipur explicitly stated its demand for a separate administration in the form of a separate state under Article 3 of the Indian Constitution based on the following rationale. It says the Kukis shall continue to strive together with sweat and blood to protect our rights and liberties until our political demand is realized in form of a separate state. Now, it tantamounts to physical disintegration of the state. When you use the word separate state,
absolutely,
it connotes a different meaning. You can say that it's under this, but it connotes a different meaning. Do you think that this is going to make any positive contribution?
No, Karthike, it is not going to make any kind of positive contribution. And if I may go by the stand which has been taken by either Central Home Ministry or the state administration headed by N. Biren Singh or most of the majority of the MLAs, they are saying that they have maintained from the word go that that the territorial integrity is something which is non-negotiable, and I don't see, and at that point of time the demand was for separate administration or not for separate stand. It seems that Kukis have hardened the stand.
It says central government to expedite separate administration in form of creation of a new state. I'm just reading out that text for you. Under the Article 3 of the Indian Constitution for lasting peace, the Kuki shall continue to strive with the sweat and blood to protect our rights and liberties until our political demand is realized in form of a separate state. So somehow, the meaning of the separate administration has stretched a bit.
Well, yes, it has. And, the demand from, separate administration to separate state under Article 3 is something which I don't think anybody is going to agree to. And the hardening of positioning, from both sides has further, deepened the kind of divide which we've been already witnessing in the last 70 plus days. And unfortunate aspect is that the violence is not coming to an end with the Naga woman being shot dead. Has further exacerbated the entire already volatile situation in the ground of Manipur. And this is the reason why, Karthike, the government needs to act and act fast. Because, this further hardening of stand is something which will make the task of the government all the more difficult to get them and sit across the table.
You know what is more worrisome is, and before I go to Rohan Singh, Hejang Misao and Hasina Kharbi, the militancy or insurgencies in Northeast were against state governments. If you look at Indira Gandhi, was 3 years into her prime ministership when she had to bomb Aizawl, because at that point of time the Aizawl was not under the control of the Indian government. Or for example, the whole demand by NSIM. So it was state versus the militants. Here the state has become a bystander which is trying to create a buffer zone, and two ethnicities are clashing and they have created separate areas for themselves. So even in that case, you do not have any legality of separate residential areas. The communities have done it for themselves. Kuki teachers have gone to the Kuki areas. Meitei teachers have gone to the Meitei dominated areas. The separation, if not on paper, but in the mind, on the land, has become complete.
Well, Karthike, that is how the reality fits itself on the ground zero, because, you and I talking about it, most of the guests here talking about it and, trying to judge the situation, and then there is a situation on the ground. And those two are completely different. We may say that, both communities, both ethnicities should come together, sit across the table, talk, thrash their issues out and all, but on the ground nothing of that sort is happening. The divide is further deepening by the day, and this is the reason why, irrespective of the kind of messaging the government wants to send across by opening schools, by asking people to come to office and start working and all, they have not been able to force people to people from hill to go to valley and people from valley to go to hill, because the fear is legit, and we may theoretically try to debunk their legit fear, but that is how it is acting on the ground, and that is one aspect which the government has to take. Initially the government said that if you don't come to, if you don't join work, the salary will be cut and all, but later I think better sense prevailed when that aspect of the order was removed. But I think the government has a lot to do before it sends a very positive message, and there's no point further exacerbating this situation by allowing a degree of inaction to result into further chaos rather than stabilizing the peace.
Okay. Please put Rohan Singh, Hejang Misao and Hasina Kharbi on our TV, Shalini, my PCR director, so that our guests can see them. Your opening statement, Rohan, and welcome to our show.
Thank you. As per as I have been observing very much with the community fight which is happening right now between the Meiteis and the Kukis, we have also had a peace protest that was held at the Constitution Club of India on day before yesterday. In spite of all the odds that I and our group has been receiving, I was detained by our Delhi police for around 5.5 hours from 8 o'clock morning till 2 o'clock, and the meeting was done itself around 2 o'clock at Constitution Club of India, in spite being though 144 was there at Jantar Mantar. And our message was a very strong message to put peace in Manipur, and even our Naga leader Oza Sankashar came and joined the program. We had the presence of Meitei Muslims, we had the presence of the Gorkhas from Manipur, and we were trying to portray that this is the need of the hour, this is the need of, the call of peace from all the communities of Manipur, and this is what Manipur exactly looks like. So I kind of feel like, yes, we have done violence from both the sides, from the Kukis and from the Meiteis also, and accidentally, like, there are also some kind of mistakes that we have been made. I won't be justifying the egg which yesterday some of the locals from some village in Manipur had done to one of the one of the girls from the Marine tribe. And even the Laika has already, even the community from that particular Laika has already casted that 3% out of the village itself. And also, as per I as remember, there were also injuries of Meitei Muslim, which was an IED bomb that was blasted in Kwakta. So, it's not just the two communities which are affected, it's all the communities which are indirectly or directly affected because of this violence. So,
Rohan, are you saying that the complexity of the situation is not taken into account? You have Meitei Christians also, you have Meitei Muslims also. Meitei is not a homogeneous identity. Meitei is a diverse identity. Is that what you are saying?
Yes. See, when it comes, sir, specifically, let me come very precisely to the point, because I've been seeing a lot of articles portraying Christians and the Hindus and but being ourselves, we as a Meitei Christian, see, we have Meitei Christians, we have the Meitei Muslims, we have the Meitei Sanamahism who follows the local deity, we have the Meitei Hindus, we have a lot. It's a homogeneous mixture. Well, in case of our Kuki brothers and sisters, they have around some 75% who follows Christianity, and 25% of them believe that they are the lost tribe of Israel also. And a lot of transportation from Chochanpur city to Israel has been going on in the past few years, as far as I see in the newspaper. But there are a lot of complexity going on right now. Like, what is exactly happening? Is it exactly religious ground? Is it exactly a communal clash fight? And some very prominent leaders also term this fight as indigenous and a non-indigenous fight. And some intellectuals also term this as a Manipur and Myanmar fight. Sometimes some intellectuals also term this as a fight between India and Myanmar. And even the honorable governor, as far as I know, subject to correction, she has quoted in one of the relief camp visit that there is presence of external forces coming in this violence. So it's a mixture of things, and we feel like we need to keep on hunting out what is exactly the real cost of this violence. And then, sir, as far as I know, there are already so much of vested interest going on, so much of cards being played, the Christian cards, the minority cards, the tribal card. We Meiteis also, we are trying to portray ourselves in other so many cards, gaining sympathy from all the angles. But we have to be also super clear with ourselves, what is our goal, what is the perspective that we are fighting. Coming to the separate administration part, people have been so many. Religiously, I'm a Christian, so I've been blackmailed so many times by my Kuki brothers and sisters that how come when you're Christian, you're betraying the entire, Christian brothers and sisters on this separate administration. My point is very clear. We Meitei Christians, no matter of what same religion we belong to, no matter of what the love bond that we have on the religious background, we are really, really, really against this separate administration, which falls under the, breaking the territorial integrity of Manipur. And I don't want
let me join my friend Hijang Misa. How are you, Hijang? Long time. कहाँ थे आप?
अभी मैं बेंगलोर पे हूँ.
अच्छा, long time. I was asking Ronnie, why aren't you getting Mr. Misao to my show? So I'm very happy you have taken time out. All good? All good back home also?
Back home, all is not good. All is not well.
All is not well. Your family, everyone is okay?
I am here for attending some training programs, which is part of my professional goals. So
that's wonderful. That's so nice to hear that something nice and ordinary is happening, because every time extraordinary creates its problem. Achha, tell me, I just wanted to know, Hijang, this press release which came out, why did it say that now separate administration form of a state? Earlier it was Article 6 and more autonomy. Why did that goalpost, Hijang, took place? Why has that happened?
Kartikeya, thank you for the show again. And I also thank you for believing in me. I've been part of this show, and then I've been telling the truth every time I'm part of this show. I don't believe in spreading lies, and I don't believe in putting allegation without any substantial evidence. Now, coming to your point of Kuki Inpi, Manipur, making a clear press statement saying that by separate administration we mean separate state, which is not actually not new. It has been the demands of the Kuki community since the start of all this armed revolutionary movement. So now there's lots of pressure coming from all angles to clearly define what we really mean by separate administration. So, and this demand, as I was saying, this is not something new. It was much before this conflict. So, the Kuki State Demand Committee was formed, and there are also lots of other people who are demanding states across India, and this Kuki State Demand Committee was part of this state demand the forum in India. So now I would say the demand is purely under the Constitution of India, which is under Article 3, which has clearly laid out how center can carve off state from a state. So also looking at that, you might be surprised why there is change in the goalpost. There's nothing changed in the goalpost. Earlier it was just we are saying separate administration. So every now and then keep asking what do we mean by separate administration. So that's why Kuki Inpi felt it is mandatory, and it is also good to come out clearly on why separate administration means a separate state. Looking into that, you also, as I was mentioning in the earlier talk show, the Manipur hills and valley was well a separate entity, socio-political, geography, and demographically. The hill and the valley was separate entity much before the coming of the British. But it was after India got independence and Manipur merged into India, the hills and the valley were brought under one administrative unit. Now, look at the situation, what is happening. The entire situation, I would also say, like Rohan, it is very unfortunate because people who've been living together after the Manipur was merged into India, we've been living together peacefully, with harmony, and then the bonding was so strong that when Meitei people comes to the hills, the kind of hospitality that we extended was something which is unparalleled. But unfortunately, there was some kind of untouchability which was practiced by the Meitei community, because they considered the tribal as untouchability. Whenever we went there, they called it mange, which means they are lost. That's the kind of discrimination which was practiced by them since long back. And also look at the whole chain of event. Now, in spite of all this physical, emotional separation, which is done by, I would say, the state government with some radical groups. Now, unfortunately, this entire community, the Meitei, whom we consider them as a very well-disciplined community living with good ethical values, now the whole community seems to be radicalized. Even forget about the common people, the academician, the bureaucrats, and all those people in power are all radicalized, that ultimately the divide has been so deep that the Kuki Inpi felt that has to be spelled out clearly once again. Now, during this whole event of conflict, we understand the conflict happens, the intensity is high, the gravity is very unfortunate, but we believe peace can be brought back through a sense of humanity. That's why when the 5 Meitei men who crossed over to the Kuki areas were caught alive by the volunteers, and we put lots of effort saying that our people, Kuki, even when our forefathers fought the British during 1970 to 1919, we never kill civilians, we never kill innocent people, we spare children, we spare aged people, old people, sick people, we never kill them. So we must not kill these people if we ascertain that they are civilians. So after ascertaining that they are civilians, we let them, we release them alive. And unfortunately, just after that, David Tech was killed, beheaded. His head was put on the fence, and after that, one Kuki lady who was mentally challenged went out to some
No,
area and then
I know,
they killed it.
Hijang, sorry, I
Just
don't want to,
recently-
I don't want to interrupt you. I know people can count. You know, people are, I know what's happening. You know, people send me, Mr. Misao, people send me this, you know, both from the Meitei side and Kuki side, you know, it's impossible to go through those visuals, you know, let me put this on record. It's impossible to go through those visuals. I have seen them at numbers, ad nauseum, which have come. I don't know which is true, which is false, which can be. I don't think any one of those can be put up on, either on social media or TV. It's impossible. Not because of guidelines, because it's so gruesome and brutal. I'll come to you, Hijang. I'll come to you. You know, we are 20 minutes of the program, and Hasina has not got the chance to speak. You know, it should not turn into boys' club. Hijang bole, Rohan bole, Vijesh bole, Kartike bole, but Hasina chup hai. No, that it's not a boys' club. It's not a boys' club. No, I'll come to you. So Hasina, you know, both of them spoke about this separate administration, but do you think that it's really feasible to carve out a state from a state in small states? Then, you know, it might have what impact it will have across India?
I think if for the last 70 days, you know, we have been in this different panels with different people coming on board who are learned, who understand the situation. Before we go into a separate administration, the law and order is still the biggest issue that is not being solved, you know. And I think at this moment, the people needed mostly is the peace reconciliation. And that peace reconciliation is not just the responsibility of the elected leaders, even the opposition, even the leaders who are from different parties. It's time for them to come together. It's time for them to look at from the humanity point of view that there is a need for peace reconciliation. There's a need of law and order situation. Before we go to the next level, when there's no peace, what separate administration are we talking about? What kind of administration are we debating about? I think at the end of the day, it's the community, it's the population of that state that require peace and order situation. I don't think I would go for discussing, you know, I would say a separate administration at this point of time when we don't even have the peace and order situation. And that is a responsibility of elected leaders, you know, representatives, people from the opposition. It's time for them to come together. Because I think as a constitution in this country, it's the responsibility of the country to ensure that this is taken care in the biggest way. And I don't think we need to talk about other separation, other situation. The law and order is an alarming day by day. Everybody is coming up with the viewpoint. Everybody is coming up with their anger. You know, people are taking advantage
Hasina,
of the
let me ask you, do you feel that law and order in last 70 days have improved? Or do you think that it has remained static? You know, it's like a new normal.
It is a static situation, you know. You have a new normal for a few weeks. Then again, you have the flaring situation coming up. And why the flaring? Because the main issues that is of concern where people need it is not being addressed. So this flaring is going on in and out.
So you're saying this flaring is going in and out. Rohan, I think before I go to Rohan, let me go to Bridget. Bridget, you know, there's an article which I read, and the article was by a prominent political scientist saying that the sole propriety of organized violence remains with the state. And what is happening in Manipur is that legitimacy of sole proprietary on organized violence, Indian state is losing it. You know, Indian state is at a loss in Manipur. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't think that Indian state is at loss in Manipur because, you know, if they would have acted with the kind of alacrity which is expected of the state, you know, you have an intelligence unit, you have a police forces command, you have paramilitary forces at your disposal. You know, the failure of the government, and then this was later on admitted by N. Biren Singh as well, you know, the failure of the government to react with the alacrity and sensitivity it was required left a lot to be desired. That is why, you know, in the first place, the violence or the situation spiraled out of control. And then once once there was a lull, the government could not move in for the kill. For kill, I mean that could not move in to ensure that, that to get all the stakeholders sit across tables so that incident of violence can be stopped, and also could not take effective action against people who have either looted the armory or have been gifted weapons from the armory. So, both sides have their stories of the victimhood, of how they have been victimized, by state or by Assam Rifles, by the government or without the government. And as the day progressed, with the state inaction actually helped creating these silos, very powerful silos on one side. And this is the reason why, both sides, if you listen to either of them and if you don't have an understanding of the history, it becomes very, very difficult. You hear one side and you believe, oh, he's absolutely all right. And then you hear other side and you said, what he's saying makes absolute sense. So I think, the government has a lot to answer. Even now, if I may say so, Karthikeya, that violence has gone on unabated for 70 days. The fact is that the government is still not making that honest outreach. I don't know. Maybe making there on the ground, but it's not reflecting on both sides. No side is willing to accept what is being given by the government.
And how do you evaluate the performance of Biren Singh? There are times we saw him going out, and suddenly there is complete silence. It's been, I mean to say, 70 days. This is not a violence against the Indian state. There is one thing called violence against the Indian state, police, army. The violence is between two communities.
Well, the violence is between the two communities. The sad part is that the government, which has either A, the sole propriety to violence, or B, has the mandate to control the violence, has been severely found wanting. And action has not been taken. The statement which has come out somehow is being construed as either pro one ethnicity, anti one ethnicities. The loose statements that have been made. I think the government, once the resignation, the entire resignation thing which went around N. Biren Singh, then he addressed the press for next 2-3 days. But I think post that again now there is a complete lull. So I think government has to reach out and stakeholders from all other communities should come out in the picture. A peace process has to initiate it. Otherwise, you may, whether you like it or not, Karthikeya, one ethnicity might hate the sight of other ethnicity. But if you want to have peace, you have to sit across table. There's no getting out of it. And until unless that happens, a lot has to come from it flows from the belief that the government is amicable to both sides and not being viewed as a partisan.
He has a point, Rohan. Biren Singh, instead of able to unite different communities, has not been able to do so at a personal level. It's like there was a debate I was participating, something like what Mahatma Gandhi did in Noakhali. There have been instances where people have walked right into the violence-prone areas, and they have straight put there. That sort of a action which has moral hero around you is missing in Manipur. Rohan.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't exactly got the real question, what was the question?
Let me put it bluntly. Do you think Biren Singh has done the job properly? I think he has failed.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to tell this, but personally, I don't have anything to comment on this matter. But on this, because it's not just praising someone or defaming someone, but right now at this moment, the stock and the position of we Meitei Christians are a very, very difficult position right now. So I personally, because I saying would be quoted as all Meitei Christians, as per as people have been perceiving. So I really don't want to make any comments regarding
but you're speaking on behalf of Meitei Christians, but you're also Manipuri. Yes. Can you speak on behalf of Manipur?
So sir, let me
just for this I only need to go to Hasina, she's the only one who ends up speaking on behalf of Manipur.
No. Let me just go a little further, because Sir Misao is also here, and I just wanted to enlighten with some of the facts we Meitei Christian really have with all the data and proof. We had a survey among the Meitei Christians survey, and 256 churches and still counting were burned out, and I think more numbers are also coming. And to your surprise, yes, this was burned by the mob, both by the Meiteis also and both by the Kukis also. You must be surprised when I quote the Kukis in terms of burning churches. Yes, but I have already had a data of another 4 churches which is already confirmed burned by the church, and I even can name you the church also. It's Eco Baptist Church, Laikong Revival Church of God, Napur Church, and we have another church which is still on the pending, but it is already yet confirmed. And also, sir, if for your information, in Sisipur, where the Meiteis are the minority, we have the presence of around 156 Meitei church, Meitei Christian church houses. And that too, there are around like 180 families in there. We have 733 believers from this church, and all their houses were burned down. And yesterday, if you have gone to Telegram and the Hindus, it was coding properly that we have a pastor called Nabachandra all the way from Sisipur. He had been serving as a pastor in Sisipur for the past few decades, I hope so. And it was from 1984 itself. His house was also being burned down by the Kuki communities, despite being introducing him as a Christian, and he has been pastoring these people for quite a long time. So sometimes we felt like, sir, when EU was discussing all these matters, we heard very little point of we Meitei Christians, but most of the discussion was very based on the Kuki communities. And when it comes to 300 more number of churches, around 256 falls only in the Meitei Christian category. And when the fundraisings or when any kind of sorts of these things are done, like I felt like Meitei Christians' voice has been totally sidelined, and that is the reason why we Meitei Christians are not really happy with it. Many people are concerned about the churches, and it has come to a very deep guard that it has already gone only to the Kuki side, that even there has been speeches that we Meitei Christian doesn't exist. So I have a very good news that two big organizations from Kuki, from Chennai and from Kerala, they are all both Christian organizations, big Christian organizations.
But Rohan, that is implicitly the problem. Hejang bhai, I'll just come to you. Hasina, isn't that implicitly the problem? Because if distribution of material resources, political representation, movement, if it happens only on the basis of community, then you have this problem. Unless and until you have a state identity, this conflict is going to continue, because what has happened is something unparalleled, which is ghettoization. My colleague Brijesh Pandey was telling me that Kuki teachers Kuki areas mein chale gaye hain, wo Meitei areas mein padhate the, and the Meitei teachers who were in the Kuki areas have gone to the Meitei areas. I mean to say, what sort of education these children will be getting? I am very surprised. India is a secular state.
Karthike, we really need to really look then the world is a globalized world, when every state in our country has moved forward in terms of accepting, democracy in totality, where we have different tribes, different ethnicity, different religion. I know we have our own challenges as a country as well. So even the state of Manipur at this point of time, allowing these opinions coming from the context of tribe, of religion, of specific, we creating ghettos every day. So that is something that learned people who have worked in the field, people who have been in development, people who have been in education, administration, cannot use these words where they are making this ghetto a reality every day. I really stand up for that, because when we talk about when there are conflict, situations of mob, takes place in situation where we don't even have an answer, because that's the only way flaring up of situation takes place, when one group of people is attacking the other group of people, or another group of people is attacking another group of people. Let's look at this from a humanitarian reconciliation, from the human rights reconciliation. Let's look this from the context that when we talk about relief, we work on relief in totality. We are talking about men, women, children, and all gender in totality, where the need is required. We cannot really go from the context of who has been widely affected, because then the other group will come. Our temple, our mosques, our indigenous house, everybody will come with the numbers. I totally agree that in this situation, everybody got affected, whether it's Christian, whether it's Muslim, whether it's ethnic group, whether it's indigenous people, faith, everybody got affected. Some might be more, some might be less. But the question of bringing this forward in terms of numbers, how many X and how many Y are we trying to derive in the public domain is not the answer of how we can bring law and order situation or how we can bring peace in Manipur. What is peace in totality? Peace, for example, for me, having worked for 35 years, it's about people feeling safe in their own state, people having a free movement. What are we talking about humanitarian when people are not going to face hunger? Or what we are talking about post-traumatic syndrome of children in the future? We grew up in the region where we still have those, I would say experiences to see what has happened, whether it was in Meghalaya and a long time ago. But the generation today has moved forward. They have moved forward to accept that there's a history of situation, a history of conflict, but there's also a progressive thought processes of upliftment of people being together. When they move out of the state, they're living in totality together. They cannot be on separation. So when they come back to their own state, that realization is an important aspect of the focus that we need to really take forward.
Hijang, now I'm giving the mic to you. And my question is, do you think that the failure at a political level is leading to stalling of peace initiatives? Creating a buffer zone is a security measure. People being fed in relief camp is an administrative measure. Highway movement is administrative security measure, movement of goods and services. But for people to move in wherever they want, live wherever they want to live in, make their children study in whichever institution they want is an act of politics, whereby a legitimate leader ensures those ordinary privileges to an ordinary man. That is lacking. I think that is where I think the failure has happened. Do you agree or not?
If anyone wants to know what is anarchy, then I would invite them to come to Manipur to understand what anarchy means. So there's total anarchy in Manipur, and it's very unfortunate that the state, a total failure of the state administrative units and political administration never invites the promulgation of PR rule in Manipur. That's very unfortunate. And I'm coming clean to what my friend was saying, like Eco Baptist Church. Eco is just near to my village, and then let me tell you, there's no Meitei Eco Baptist Church in Eco. There's one Eco Baptist Church which belongs to the Kuki. When some volunteer, when the Meitei, we had agreement that let's not get involved in this whole conflict. And unfortunately, they started burning down Pi Hunumpai, which is close to the Meitei area. And then when they break that agreement, our Kuki volunteer went and burned down Eco. And there's no Meitei church there. There's only one Kuki church, which is Eco Baptist Church, which when in the whole process of burning the seeds, it is very close to the houses. It just got fire. It's not intentional burning down of the church. I should come clean on that. The second thing now, because I have lots of friends among the Meiteis, I've been talking to them, and then the whole problem is the misinformation of the masses. So I told them, if you want normalcy to come back, why don't you ask your people to stop attacking us? And she also told me that, now this is how we are informed. If the Kukis stop attacking us, then normalcy will come back. This is how they are being misinformed, to be honest. Because I am from the ground. I've been there always, taking part in defending my people, because they keep attacking us. That's what's normally happening. Now I will complete my point.
Can I ask you a question? When you say attacking, where is the army? Where is the security force? I mean to say, attacking means that you are alluding or alleging that there is a free movement of people with arms.
Let me tell you, Kartikeya, you are sitting in Delhi, and then you might not understand when I'm saying that, because a column of army cannot stand the whole stretch of kilometers. No? Army can sit in one hilltop, but you can't expect the whole army standing in queue to defend the whole terrain. So that's what I mean. Now, yesterday itself,
Fair enough.
Rang Hulun, Zhang Kulun from Thangbu was attacked by Myanmar-based militants who are coming with the militia called Arambai Tengol, and they attacked Thangbu, and then he was killed. He was killed in that place. So we were saying, stop attacking us, then normalcy will come. Now what I'm saying is like, our good gesture, we really love peace. And to my friend, I would tell you honestly, actually, they were saying we cannot settle in the hills. The Kukis, we are very accommodative. If you look at the whole history, why the Meiteis we allow them to settle in the hills. Suranpur, we allow them. Moreh, we allow them. Even now, Kwatha, which is in Moreh, still that village is intact. We don't attack them. We don't kill them, because we believe in humanity. We believe in peaceful coexistence.
But I am also trying to put in the perspective of those who are opposed to it. I mean, to say obviously, ek haath se to tali nahi bajegi na. I mean, so it's not as if states have not been created in India. Telangana, Uttarakhand, Punjab, states have been created. Public movements were there. ऐसा नहीं है कि बिन पब्लिक मूवमेंट के स्टेट्स बने हैं. States have been created out of public movements. But this is the first time a state is being created not out of a political movement. You are having an armed violence. That's the difference I'm trying to make. Telangana was a political movement. Uttarakhand, there was a firing. Udham Singh Nagar ki aapko yaad hogi. I'll remember Udham Singh Nagar firing. I was very young in this profession. Jab hua tha, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, I think he was the prime minister at that point of time. कई सारी चीजें हुई थी, but this is the first time you have state is being demanded from the barrel of a gun. Hijang, I think that's the difference.
No, what I'm saying, I have already made it clearly, the state demand is nothing new. It is not the result of this violence. It was much before the violence happening. I think you have to look back to the history of the demand for statehood of the Kuki people. It's much more before this violence.
Okay, Rohan, you wanted to come in. I think you were raising hand. Yeah. Rohan, please go ahead.
Yes. So then, like, I'll just come with a little question of like what Misauji has said. We have around the list of some 31 mandirs also which were being burned down when it comes to a specific religion ground also. And a lot of Meitei villages were also attacked at Sero, Fayeng, Sugnu, and many other foothills of these things also. So you can't just come up with a claim that the attack is just coming from one side, because the attacks are from both the sides. And also when it comes to the little kind of a justification from our Meitei communities also, people have started to tell that there is a lot of external forces, militants from Myanmar coming and attacking us with lungi, so we should also defend ourselves. So they have come to that point of explanation that they are doing this to save their lives itself. Kartikji, when let me just talk the facts. See, we Meiteis have residentials in Bangladesh, we have residentials in Myanmar, we have residentials in Assam, we have even in Mizoram, we have in Nagaland, we have in Arunachal. Why there is not even one ethnic clash or community fight going on in all these states and country in the past, few decades? You won't find a single incident where there was a fight of Meitei in other states and other countries. We have been living peacefully with all the other communities and other countries and other states. Where our Kuki brothers, they have a fight in Bangladesh, the Keno and all, like they are, having arms and ammunition fight. As you were quoting very clearly when you were telling that the same thing is happening right now in Manipur. And I just read an article from the Chronicles.
Are you comparing Manipur with? Are you comparing Manipur? What are you comparing Manipur with, Rohan?
Yeah, I'm not comparing Manipur with anything. I'm trying to say Manipur is right now the main spot where the majority of the attacks are happening. The attacks has already been in Tripura, the attacks has already been Assam. They had a community fight with the Dimasao Hatao, they had a fight with the Nagas, the same issue long back on 1993 to 1997. We Meiteis were the one who gave shelter to our Kuki brothers and sisters. And my million-dollar question is that when the Kukis are fighting in each and every state, in each and every country, even Bangladesh and Myanmar, why it is not us Meitei, we are the same residents who are residing in the same state and same country. And just one more thing, Kartik ji. I was also one of the
Don't worry, I am not going anywhere. It's a long program, Rohan. Don't worry. It's a long program. It's not a TV debate. I don't end it like that. I allow every person to speak. Let me play out a bite. Brijesh, there's a bite I want to play it out, and then I go to Hasina and then to Hijang. Let us play out that bite.
In the midst of the prevailing communal situation in Manipur, which has been going on for 70 days now, we have witnessed compartmentalization of Imphal city and the Imphal valley by state-sponsored machineries, wherein Kuki settlements, their houses, the colonies, the churches have all been burnt down. The abrupt abrogation of age-old treaties like those of the Moiran Treaty and the Sanjentong Treaty, and the subsequent declaration of war upon the Kuki community by the Meiteis, have paved the way for a total separation of these two communities, the Kukis and the Meiteis, ad infinitum. Taking this into consideration, the Kuki Inpi Manipur, in its meeting held yesterday at Lamka, has decided to spell out its demand for a separate administration, wherein the cabinet decided explicitly that the separate administration will be in the form of a separate state under Article 3 of the Indian Constitution. This being said, it is being made known to all that the Kukis shall continue to strive with sweat and blood and continue to toil till the central government listens to our demands and grant us a separate state for our self-administration.
Hasina, you heard the bite?
Yes, I did.
It's clear as water.
So I think, let me just go back to what I just said earlier.
The reason why I played Hasina this bite was not because I'm just trying to cook up numbers here. I'm just saying there's a context to it. There's something which has come from the primary source, which is there.
I understood, Kartike. I understand that what is coming from the ground is an alarm that we need to be
because you said no, we have been debating this for past 70 days. We have been doing this.
Yes.
The reason why I took this up on Monday was that this has come on the weekend. This is not old. This is something new and different.
That's what I'm saying. Kartike, what was coming out from the ground is a reality. It's a reality check that the situation has not died down. It might has been peaceful for a while because of the law and order being stringent at whatever positioned, but a little bit of opening is going to make it much more difficult if there's no design law and order situation being taken care so that the community could be moving freely. That's one very, very important. The second that is very, very essential to be understood at this point, since the internet and all that is a possibility of the people sending out messages, information from the ground, it's also creating more, I would say, violence, because one group is feeling isolated, the other group is feeling isolated, because these are opinions that are being provided by communities who are affected, by people who are affected. They're spelling out the heart and the situation of wanting peace. It's time for the state to actually act. When I say act, the central government needs to really give directive at this point of time. A directive to the state. If the leaders has failed, then I think it's time for President Rule to come on board to really solve the problems of peace and security of the people before we go on into other situation. If there's no law and order situation, conflict will continue to happen.
Hasina, I'm so sorry, I'm just telling you, people are attacking village defense forces in Kankopi. 30 people attacked the village defense force. One person was killed. Assailant escaped after the Assam rifle reached the spot. And in my bulletin, I'm showing you visuals of people making arms out of electric poles, pipes. It's like civilian material being used for bomb. It's
any conflict zone. We need to look at history. When conflict flares up, what really happened? Communities come together from their perspective to actually act upon it, that wanting the peace and order and looking at the other side as the attacker. So what we are seeing there, it's a process when people are coming into ghettos. the messaging that is going on the ground, the safety that's going onto the ground, you will find people coming on board and who will take arms in their own hand from the perspective of protection. You know, I'm not trying to say that this is right, this is completely wrong. But when there's a failure, you will see this coming up because people are coming in group. It's just a groupatism. You know, when a group is coming together, what are you doing? You're trying to really tell the world, we will not leave you. We are going to really attack you. You know, we are not taking into consideration who they are because you're not protecting us. They're actually attacking communities, they're attacking I would say the groups. I mean, like, you know, in every villages, you have these local groups together, right? So this will happen, Kartike. This is flaring. It's flaring from one to the next to the next. And there is also, because if the political leaders are unable to solve the problem, the community will come together. If they feel that arms is the need of the solution, they will use arms.
You know, you have hit the nail. Hijang, she is so right. You know, now all the MLAs have disappeared. They don't want to come on this debate. They feel that ye to purana ho gaya.
And they disappeared from
and they have disappeared from TV. You know, only people like you remain, you know, who want to come back. It's like addressing the grief. It's like, it's a very far off comparison, but it's like acknowledgement of an atrocity, saying that you couldn't do anything. You know, it's that sort of a thing. I don't even get calls from MLAs anymore that we would like to come and say, what will they say? घर से तो बाहर निकल नहीं रहे हैं आप, जा नहीं रहे हैं, TV studio में देखेंगे तो लोग और नाराज होंगे. Isn't that true, Hijang?
I mean, there has been a deep polarization, and if you can also understand from the MLAs, the 10 MLAs make a strong stand saying that we need separate administration. At the same time, the other MLAs from the Valley people, the Meitei community, are also demanding for the withdrawal of the Assam Rifle, who are protecting the innocent people from the onslaught of those people from the Valley. And then when the entire Valley, there is enough evidence of the presence of proscribed, banned and terrorist organization in whose hands are the arms and ammunition which were looted from the police station and the other security forces of the state. Now, when such polarization and then when the even
Hijang, I think you have, I think you should allow Rohan to respond to what you have said. Itna banta hai. Rohan, respond to it.
Yeah. Even calling the year of the year wrong. What we were trying to compare was we have never gone to another. What we were fighting among ourselves was among the state itself, among the state itself.
And
but
I strongly
to the
disagree
extent,
when he's saying he gives shelter to all the Kukis when during the Naga and Kukis conflicts. Please remember, we are the one who protect Manipur integrity during that time. Okay, we shed the blood, we give our life, and lots of houses, numbers of villages are dislodged, and that's what we do. We do because we are protecting Manipur integrity from the people who are trying to disintegrate.
Protect now.
Manipur.
Let's protect now. Let's stay in Manipur. Let's stay in that one Manipur that we have been expecting.
Now, when you don't
let's stay in that one Manipur. Let's stay in that one peaceful Manipur that we have been preserving. That is our approach as a Manipuri, not as a Meitei.
You don't have
not as a Meitei. We are requesting the same thing right now, and that is what you are trying to do. That is what you have been trying to do for past few days. You have been trying to break the territorial integrity of Manipur, and there is a recent article.
You call us poppy planter, and there are lots of poppy planter, and then you only told us the poppy planter, and you said narco terrorists. Who are the narco terrorists? Narco terrorists are the people from the valley people who are getting all the benefit of this poppy plantation. We are just the only
sir, let me interrupt, sir. Let me interrupt.
Poppy, and the whole benefit, the largest chunk and the big fees are from the Meitei, and then you yourself are waging war against narco terrorists and targeting against the Kuki community. Why don't you target all those people? And even there are lots of political power. There are lots of people in political leadership who are involved in drugs. And then why don't you call them narco terrorists? Why you are alleging one after the other without any evidence, substantial evidence?
I was also one of the first person who really fought out as an activist on this anti-drugs campaign. For your information, it was by the NAB department. Out of 15,400 acres of land found to be poppy cultivated in Manipur, 13,122, which is around like 85% of the total poppy cultivated land, on the year basis of 2017 to 2023 was from your Kuki dominated area. You can't just come up with a blame game when 85% of the poppy planted cultivated area is on your jurisdiction where there is
it's not about percentage. It's not about percentage.
No, you can't blame us. No, when it is done in your own land, you can't blame us, sir. When it is done in your own land, where your chiefs and where your kings have given permission on that, you can't just come and
community. If you are saying
it's not one community. It's about the percentage. It's about the percentage.
You should be against that. You should be against that.
Yeah, that's what I'm against it. That is what I'm against it. To be heard, that is a Meitei, Naga. We are completely against it, and we have been completely standing against it.
We have to be against that plantation. But when you are targeting
yes,
that particular
I'm against
community,
it. I'm against it.
Yet it be the
Meiteis, I'm against it.
When we are saying
Nagas,
it's
I'm
targeted
against it.
ethnic cleansing,
Kukis,
we
I'm
have
against
very
it.
enough
But
because this is a well pre-planned.
Sir, the data itself has already proved, sir, you can't keep on justifying. Already 85% is from the
the highest number of gun licenses
and how
issued to
can
the
you
valley
come up,
people, because this has been
and
data
blaming
has been
ourselves?
provided. The highest number of gun licenses has been provided to the valley people, and just before the violence, the licensed guns of the hill people, especially the Kuki people, are asked to deposit in the police camp. And before that, the service was done, and then all the houses of the Kuki communities are marked. And when this violence happens, the marked houses are all targeted. And you
no, sir.
When
you're coming about the drugs thing, just see the number of drugs which are caught in Mizoram right now. Manipur has been a total blockage. Have you ever heard of any news of like Manipuris or the Meitei squatting? No, it's all your tribe.
Hello. I think your data has something wrong with you.
It's all in Mizoram right now, sir. It's happening. It's a data itself which is
data.
You can't just blame us with
Did you
yes, I do agree with that. I'm not saying that we 100% agree, but almost like all the percentages are coming from the
with drugs. He was caught in Delhi, and a good number of leaders, and there are lots of factories which are in Imphal, in Thobal, which was busted by the police forces. How can you say there's no
sir? And I can even quote from the NAB data how many Kukis were caught, how many Meiteis were caught, how many Meitei Muslims were caught. But I'm speaking from the data. Yes, the number of Meitei Muslims were more. And Kuki comes in the second. Kuki comes in the second. And Meitei comes in the third. I'm not telling and I'm justifying and telling that we are clean people.
In what we are saying, if you really want Manipur to be intact, speak the truth.
Yeah, I'm speaking the truth. I'm speaking the data. What do you want more me to speak? What do you want me more to speak?
You people force. Physically, you force us to leave Manipur, and emotionally, you force us to be apart with your people, and administratively, you discriminated us. Out of 7,000 crores, only 41 is for the hills, entire hills. What is that?
No, sir. I have the data also in that regard. I have also the data which was published by the government of Manipur in that regard. You can't just come up with a blame game coming like this and differentiating between the hills and the valley. The data itself was very clearly speaking from the government of Manipur. Now I'm not speaking from the side of the government. I'm speaking as a true Manipuri. When you yourself cannot consider you yourself as a true Manipuri, how can you keep on speaking about a true Manipur picture? How can you keep on...
I have already told you very just before that, I have told you, even the mass population are misinformed. That's why the conflict is still lingering.
It's exactly happening with you, sir. It's exactly happening with you, sir. Sir, see, when the number of churches data are being published by Kuki leaders, and when we said that 31 mandirs are being burned down, there are so many lakhs of your Kuki people who believes that Rohan is a fake Christian. Why is he speaking for the mandirs? I'm telling, I'm a Christian. My church was no, sir. Let me complete. Sir, when my church was being vandalized, when my church is being vandalized, I am saying my church was being vandalized. Then when I say mandirs were also burned by our Kuki brothers and sisters who falls in the category of Christians. How dare you people call me Judah Iscariot for exposing the truth of the number of mandirs that you have burned?
I never called you Judah Iscariot.
No. See, sir, you can't come up with a dry argument.
It's between you and me. It's between you and me. Let's not bring in
Yeah,
other
that's
people
what
who are
that's what
not
sir.
part of this also.
Why you people
No,
are calling me Judas Iscariot when I expose a
between you
number of
and me,
monkeys?
Rohan, you and Miss Almi, okay? We are here in this
Yes,
talk show.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
not bring in
Misauji. That's
people who are
what
not
Misau
part of
sir.
this
That's
talk
what
show,
I'm
okay?
saying. That's what I'm
If you
saying.
say that
I'm
I
speaking you
have
the I'm
many
speaking
things
you
to
the
say,
facts and
people who are
figure.
not here,
I'm
okay?
not
People are
quoting
not
any
here.
kind of
I have
emotional
many things to
structures
say.
right
I
now.
can blame them. I can just allege them that they are calling me this and that. But we should not bring people who are not here. I think it should be between you and me. Let's talk very constructively.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I think I've allowed you. I think I've allowed both of you your space, your time, when you really wanted to, address some issues, talk to each other. Hasina, are you there?
Yes, I am. And I think Manipur need a radical healing, Kartike, at this point of time. And Manipur needs leaders who can be uncomfortable with the situation and take lead. If they fail to do that, India as a government, the central government needs to give directive. It's time. It can't take on the disparities of opinion that continue to be having. Understand that, there's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of failure that has happened in the last 70 days. There's issues of the past that needs to be resolved. But we have to look at the present, which is more present. If the leaders are hiding away, if the leaders are not coming forefront, they are not trying to be out there to really speak it out or take leadership, then the central government will have to take leadership. The central government will have to take the lead at this point of time. And those leaders who join hands will have to be able to be uncomfortable, to come up and tell that this is the need. We have to keep all opinions, all situation aside, but let's give law and order a chance for the people to be able to have their rights back. I think that's very, very critical. It's an issue of concern. I could even see both our panelists today. I know both of you have your opinion, respected opinion. But here we are at a national TV. It is not about, who is right. There are issues and concern that is unresolved. But any issues and concern of unresolved that has affected minorities, indigenous people at any level, these are bigger debates. But what is the need of the hour right now is that when do the peace and order, peace reconciliation of Manipur comes about? When is the law and order is going to be taken care the way it's supposed to be taken care by the government? And where is the government? If the government has failed, then I think it's time for the central government to come on board. I think women at the ground who have really been part and parcel of a very strong voice for Manipur, it's time for them to come together as well.
But I think Hasina, how do you do that? I'll be very honest here. Hasina, tell me, how do you do that? I do not know.
Central government has to do that, Kartikeya.
There's a question. There's a question for you. When we treat women, we treat them as if they don't have political ideology. Very gendered way of looking at women. Ya to devi hai ya ekdam kharab hai. Women if you look at the way women have organized themselves for the larger Meitei cause, they are the ones who have been blocking the convoys of army. The women, the Meitei Lupun, and I think other women organization of Meiteis, they led to the release of one of the militants who had participated in killing killing of a Fauji. So, I think women absent of political ideology is wrong. Women have a political ideology. Women are equally divided. It's like women are not patriarchal. Women transfer patriarchy. If the society is patriarchal, women also participate in it. I am saying that women are equally polarized here in Manipur.
Of course, I'm not denying that. But at the end of the day, give them the chance to be the voices, to be a part and a parcel of that peace reconciliations. You might find some of the movement that has taken place as an alarm that they need to stop situation that has happened in the past, that is happening right now, which you are showing in all the clips that is going on, but at the end of the day, it is also time for women to sit on the front board to talk with the leaders, the political leaders. It's just not about going on from one place to the other. Look at the clips. The clip is all about moving from one place to the other, alarming the situation. It's like you're running away from a situation. Where is that law and order? Who's going to stop that riots going out there? It has to be, the elected, government. Now, if that government has failed, then it has to be the central government. I think that's what our constitution says, isn't it, Kartikeya?
Yeah, yeah. The constitution says that. But Mr. Misao, isn't this true that women are equally divided on ethnic lines? I played out those visuals. Army had to release
I just wanted to add to what you're asking, Kartikeya, when Hasina was saying about, President women coming to the forefront. See, the point also is that, perhaps this is the first time, the Indian Army was forced to release a proper video of how they were surrounded and how they were literally forced to hand over those terrorists. And there have been also incidents of, them protesting and literally taunting their MLAs that if you can't protect their interest, then it's time that they hand over the guns. So I think the divide is very deep, and women are completely, it's not like, they're a separate entity. They are part of that deep divide which exists in the society.
Hejang, and then I'll go to Rohan.
Yeah, I was saying, Kartikeya, it's very unfortunate.
Can you just get that camera position right?
Hejang, abhi aap horizontal ho gaye instead of being vertical.
Oh, sorry. Just give to Rohan first and then I'll come back.
Okay, theek hai. Aap vertical hoiye, Rohan.
Okay. I'm so sorry, today I've been a little harsh because I wanted to have been expressing out all these views from my side, and as having read all the facts and figures and taking the ground report from all the reliable sources, and I've been reading and differentiating out all the articles data by data in terms of drugs, in terms of illegal immigrants, in terms of religious bias. I've been studying a lot of things because sir, I've been called in Kerala and Tamil Nadu by two of the
Rohan,
biggest
you represent a complex Indian identity. That's what we are. You are from Northeast. You are a Manipuri, but you are a Meitei who are being labeled as majoritarian. But you are a Christian, which is a minority community.
Yes.
This is a layered Indian identity. This is what India is. You go to Kerala and then you'll understand. Then you're from North Kerala,
yes,
but he's a.
So the request that has been coming from these two very big organizations from Kerala and Tamil Nadu is, it's an earnest voice from these two organizations, very big Christian organization, that they don't really want religious cards to be played on this, yet it be by the Meitei Christians or yet it be by the Kukis. They really don't want this, religious background to be involved, because at the end of the day, they felt like, out of these two communities fights going on Manipur, indirectly or directly, other minority Christians might be attacked unnecessarily. So they have just made a very clear standpoint after hearing the stories from both the sides, from our Kuki brothers.
Which denomination of the church has said this? Which denomination?
Sir, it is the very big body of Kerala Christian organization. It's a very big Christian organization. So they have called me there to have a press release or a talk on what is really happening on both the sides. So honestly, taking the liberty, I don't speak only for the Meiteis today. I speak for both the sides. Like, I'm speaking both what is happening really on both the sides, sir. So when we narrate both sides of the story,
but Rohan, there was a question which I asked. Even the Meitei women are politically aligned. What Brijesh was saying. The cavalcade was stopped. Army had to release the visuals, because Hasina had a point saying that the women should get a voice. But here women have taken a position there. Misao.
Can I come in?
Yeah.
Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, I would say it is very unfortunate the highly regarded Mera Paibis, women for the Toss period, who were regarded for their stands for justice, stand for fairness, stand for all the community, is now strongly taking side for one particular community. It might be because they belong to the Meitei community, but it's very unfortunate because their involvement, I think you should not just take, because I say it's all because the footage has been released by the military intelligence as well. Now, numbers of instances where the operation are obstructed by them, and there are also a number of evidence where they help the release of those banned terrorist organizations like KYKL. When 12 of them are arrested by the army, they are the Mera Paibi storm and then forcefully let them release. Even the UNLF. This is the fact. I'm not saying something which is out of creating story out of nothing. So this is the fact. So and even there are also lots of footage when these Mera Paibis are also coming in front and then storming the defense line of the other community, and then finally letting all those rioters to come and burn down the villages. Now, just on 15, we have all the story. It's published in the newspaper. Plus, UNC also made it very clear that the Mera Paibi apprehended this lady Lucy, who is from the Maring tribe, which belongs to the Naga community. She was apprehended by the Mera Paibi and handed over to Arambai Tengo. What sort of this ethic are they following? I don't understand. Even if she belongs to Kuki also, because if the Kuki can apprehended the Meitei men and release them unharmed, what if she belongs to Kuki also? What has she to do with the whole conflict? Why there is total disregard for human rights and why there is total disregard for humanity? I think this is very unfortunate, and then every human being with the right sense should come and condemn all these things. Because they don't even respect the international law when the child, a baby boy who was in need of emergency medical aid was transported by ambulance, and then these Mera Paibis, they stopped them and then even burned down the vehicle that's carrying and then burned alive the child and the mother and the other girl who was accompanying them. So I think it is my humble appeal, Rohan, you should also appeal. Because you should also appeal to the Mera Paibis to come back to the sense of humanity and then act just and with fairness. Unless you do that, I don't think the level of distrust that we already built because of our insensible action. I think so long as we don't address this thing, the so-called normalcy in Manipur will never be coming back.
Don't be so pessimistic. Don't be so pessimistic, Mr. Misao. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है. Something will need to give in.
Karthik, what I'm saying is we are very optimistic. That's why we give this good gesture, but it is never reciprocated with a good gesture from the end. That's why what I'm saying. So long as your good gesture is not reciprocated with positive action, then how do you expect that peace will come back?
I think it requires a political initiative. I think if the Prime Minister takes a position, if I think Home Minister changes Biren Singh, it will be it will create a ripple effect. There was a ripple effect when Rahul Gandhi came there. It's slightly unfortunate that Ibobi Singh followed it up, but nothing has happened the next day. Srinivas has gone there, who is the Indian Youth Congress president. Those visuals have been released, but those are low-level political meetings. Those high-level political contacts
requires, the situation is, I think, beyond who gets to helm the state or not. I think the situation requires for a very big crackdown on all the illegal weapons which are still out at large and which are yet to be returned to the police. That is a big yes. Controlling the violence is a big yes. Without controlling the violence, without a massive crackdown on whether you are irrespective of which ethnicity you belong to, you cannot have the first step towards peace. All the other steps are just going to be wishy-washy. You can dream of arriving at a solution, and post to the state has to take political initiative.
Are you saying, Brijesh, that visits like this, which Rahul Gandhi, or visits like Srinivas or Ibobi Akram Singh, it's not going to work?
I don't think it's going to work, because
No,
it is not going to work, because the reason why I'm saying is that normal situation, these outreach would have been fruitful, but the point is that we live in such politically charged atmosphere that visit will be ridiculed by any party who is in the power. If Congress was in power today and a BJP person would have approached or visited the state, the same kind of political cacophony you would be hearing. So that is not going to change much, but I think the onus is on the state to start with something very concrete and something which caters to or takes the fear and the apprehensions of both ethnicity. It's not like you just cater to one ethnicity. It has to factor in fear and vulnerabilities and worry of both ethnicity, and until and unless both ethnicity feel comfortable that yes, the outreach which has been made to us is amount to something. Karthike, the situation on the ground is not going to improve much. You can have 2 days of violence. You have 2 days where no violence takes place, and then then a day will come when such violence will take place that it just negates the positivity of the last 2 or 3 or 4 days. So I think a lot needs to be done, but it has to start by cracking down on these illegal arms which are floating around, and also ensuring the law and order has to be the topmost priority right now.
Hasina, you have an international experience. Tell me, ये arms retreat क्यों नहीं हो रहे हैं? Why has that happened? This is like the Shan insurgency of Myanmar. For decades, the army wouldn't move there. It was almost autonomous.
So when we look at arms, right? I mean, let's look at the cross-border arms deal that continue to happen when there's a chaos and a conflict. That is something which is filtering into a present situation that Myanmar is in. So we have to also accept that Myanmar is in a state of unrest. Arms and weapons deal will continue to happen, which is not reported very highly. A situation of unrest in Manipur is also going to bring the whole situation of how these armed deals will continue to take place, Kartike. We have to accept that. Look at from the sector that for the last 2.5 years almost, Myanmar has been in an unrest situation. It's a civil war. The arms deal, it's one of the lucrative businesses that is taking place at the same time. The need for more arms is also very lucrative. Do we also see from the lens that these arms that is actually missing in Manipur at this moment might be filtering across the border? So the government of India, if you're looking at internal security of cross-border, then I think they have to crack this down very strongly with great directives to actually ensure that they are retrieving all these arms. That's an important factor, because the law and order situation will come along of people having ownership of those arms, using those arms which they are not supposed to be using it. It's a violation of rights. If you're looking at arms deal at an international level, we always look at arms deal when there's conflict on two sides. And that's how businesses increases.
Okay. Hijang, you wanted to come in, and then I'll go to Rohan. You had raised your hand.
Regarding the arms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, as it's very sad because the whole situation is still with that grim situation, because government didn't do enough their homework when all these state back up. The central as well as the state government should come up strongly on all these things.
But arms तो ऐसे हुए जैसे गायब हो गए वैसे हिजांग, as if arms have melted away like butter in Manipur. Sorry, I'm using this sort of an inane comparison. ऐसा है कि कभी थे ही नहीं, गायब हो गए. मतलब now it seems कि उठा के दिए गए हैं arms.
Now, that's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, now there's a report that the Myanmar-based Meitei militants are also like crossing over to the boundaries, and there were times when Assam Rifle also pushed them back. And now we have report that these arms are in the hands of these Myanmar-based Meitei militants. And just yesterday itself, when Zhang Khudun was killed, they said it was shot by Myanmar-based Meitei militants who crossed over to the boundaries. So that is also adding, creating a war situation which we are not very positive of what might happen in the next future. So therefore, if the center and the state government should come up strongly against all these kind of things, then I think unless we do that, the whole situation as it is happening will keep happening.
Okay, Rohan.
Yeah, as per my knowledge, this was from one of the voice where from a Manipuri Meitei village which was attacked by the Kuki, and one video was circulated, Kartik ji, where one very old 80 to 90 years old man was saved on the humanity ground by the Kuki brothers and sisters. So coming more deeper on that, when we were asking the thing, there was a very quote which was quoted by one of the villagers. What is the humanity that they are showing, coming and destroying all the 300 houses and then just saving one person? And it seems like they are specifically doing that act to portray on social media that they are on the ground of humanity. when already 300 houses have been burned down completely, purposefully coming and attacking one Meitei village already, and they are just saving one old guy just to portray that they are also showing humanity. This was also from one god. Now coming back to the solution, as this is going to be my last, quote, Kartikji, what I believe is rather than focusing on the illegal arms, let us also focus so much more on illegal immigrants. And because what is happening right now in Manipur can happen very soon in even Mizoram also, where they are providing shelters. It can happen in Nagaland also. It can happen in Arunachal also. And that's the only piece of suggestion that I can have for the entire government of Manipur also, government of in India also, because I kind of feel like something fishy was going on when our honorable MLAs from the Kuki community went and met our honorable Chief Minister of Mizoram, Nagaland, and they sidelined Assam, and then they went all the way again to Shillong. And these are all Christian CM. And at the very first place, they were trying to play all this Christian card. We Meitei Christians could see very clearly with what they are doing. So now,
are you saying there is a Christian card?
Yeah, there is already so strong much of Christian cut, and that is why even the European Union has been misled. We might take Christian have a population of around 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs. Like we also sometimes address ourselves as sandwich, that we have been also partially attacked by the Meiteis also, and also in the meantime ethnically I have also listed out the number of Meitei Christians houses being attacked and burned down by the Kuki militants and also Kuki mobs. So you can't just keep on like going on to this blame game Kartikji. So what I feel in solution is like according that incident of one woman and one child which was burned down in ambulance, the next day another old Manipuri Meitei grandmother at the age of 80 to 85 years was burned down in Shuknu inside a mandir. And when you come up with one narrative of the story, you should also always go with that point of narrative of the story. And in Mr. Karan Sapar interview, I saw that Mr. Karan was quoting
other interviews. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I know you are quoting another fellow journalist. I have no issues. You can take his name in my show. I am not like one of those possessive journalists कि आप दूसरे पत्रकार का नाम मेरे शो में नहीं ले सकते. I have no such issues. This is not like those TV shows कि आपने कैसे नाम ले लिया दूसरे पत्रकार का मेरे शो पे. नहीं. You can take, you can quote. I have no issue with any journalist.
Yeah, I'm just trying to quote one incident where one police was shot by the snipers from the hilly areas, from the Kuki-dominated area, and that was a proof itself in the newspaper and the news link. And that was not published by the... I'd just like to break
down this argument. You said there's a Christian constituency. Hijang raised his finger.
Yes.
Hijang, Misao, you wanted to come in, na?
I am wondering when would our fellow Meiteis should stop telling lies to the entire world. I think it's high time we should stop telling the lies, because when you are saying all these MLAs went to all the Christian CMs, I think that's baseless, because there's also enough photo and video evidence that our MLAs plus the CSO also went to Humanitarian, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam.
That was after meeting the three CMs.
Whether it is before or after that, they are meeting, no?
Yeah, after reading the complaints, you went again to...
the very fact, see, Kartike, that's what I'm saying. The good gesture that we are giving to them is always taken very negatively. Now, when you are like looting our houses, burn down all the Imphal houses,
the same in Sisipur and the same in Moreh.
In violence, there will be retaliation. But if that old man was Kuki, they will not even spare that Kuki old man. But for us, we even spare that, and they don't even say thank you for that. And see, two Meitei guy went biking. I don't know what sense they have. Out of the ignorance, they landed to Tingnopa. Both of them were caught by the volunteer, and they were taken to the chiefs, and they asked them why they are coming. They thought that they were part of the intelligence. Now, and when after ascertaining that they are civilian, they brought that two Meitei to the pavilion. That's a boulder area buffer zone. And
yes, that I accept it.
That two Meitei, we are very thankful that two Meitei are very truthful, saying that our Kuki brothers are so understanding. They understand that we are innocent. We are civilian. That's why they let us alive. I think such things also should be reciprocated, Rohan.
Yes, yes, and yes,
It's
Mr.
very
Ji, and also I'm
sensitive.
quoting,
It's communal.
one
I know
incident
you
from
belong to
one
Meitei
incident. No, I'm
community. Let me
quoting one
speak,
incident
Rohan.
from
Let me
Rims
speak.
Hospital.
Let me speak.
I'm also
I'm
quoting one
speaking. Let me
incident from
speak.
Rims
Let
Hospital
me
where one Kuki brother was
speak.
coming
I'm
to
speaking. Let me speak.
see his
What I'm
health in
saying.
Rims Hospital, and a mob
What
was
I'm
also
saying.
there,
See,
and
what I'm saying.
also the
At least,
Meitei brothers said,
at least
"We really
respect.
love you.
At least respect
Please
what
spread
it
the
is.
message of peace in the hills when you go back
You
by
are
this
trying to
bus to the
disturb me
DPS."
when I'm
So this,
telling the truth. You are trying to disturb me when I'm telling the truth. Okay,
okay,
I'm
please,
smiling
please,
when
please
you
go ahead.
speak.
Please go ahead.
I'm
No,
smiling.
please go ahead.
Let's smile at each other. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. We shout at each other because we are in the situation, and sometimes we should also smile back. Now,
Yeah.
I am a social activist. I belong to Kuki community. Yes, I belong to Kuki community, but I don't believe in false allegation, false narrative. I believe in the truth. So that truth, because you may always keep saying "Achum manayai phare," and I don't know why you didn't maintain that one. Now that why I'm saying is because when retaliation is natural in the violence, you are burning down many houses, and the volunteers out of their anger they are retaliating and burning down those houses, and then in those houses all the community people they fled and they left that old person. And then we know out of humanity, we said our forefather never kill civilians, never kill innocent people,
Hijang,
never
can I
kill.
come in between? Just hear me. Shalini, I just want Hijang and Rohan to be there on screen. Let my voice play out. जब आप दोनों लोग मिलके यहाँ बात कर सकते हैं और मुझे बिल्कुल बड़ा बुरा भी लग रहा है कि एक मैती है, कुकी है, तो वहाँ क्यों नहीं बात हो सकती? Why can't this conversation take place in Imphal? बात क्यों नहीं हो सकती है? आप लोग मुस्कुरा सकते हैं, बात कर सकते हैं, कह सकते हैं एक है, तो क्यों नहीं बात हो सकती इम्फाल में?
I'm ready for that.
क्यों नहीं बात कर सकते? आप लोग गले क्यों नहीं मिल सकते हैं?
I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that.
देखो, he is ready and he is a Meitei, he is ready. आपको गले लगाने के लिए तैयार है. आप क्यों नहीं बोलते आप इसे गले लगाएंगे? आप भी बोलिए.
अरे सुनो ना कार्तिक, एक बात
बताओ.
When a lady who just ventured out because I was told that she was mentally challenged, which belongs to Naga community.
नहीं, एक चीज बताओ, आप रोहन सिंह को गले लगाओगे? आप एक चीज बोलो, रोहन सिंह को गले विशाल भाई, आप रोहन सिंह को गले लगाओगे?
कार्तिक, let me finish.
नहीं करिए, गले नहीं लगाओगे? क्यों नहीं गले मिल
सकते? Even a lady safety was not at all there. How do you expect me to go to that Imphal area and talk out? And let Rohan come to my place.
No, we will welcome you. We will welcome you. We are.
You welcome me, but your people are not ready for that.
From our side, I will also personally take that risk, Ms. Auji. You can come and have a table talk, and that's what we Meiteis have been expecting for a very long time, and that is what we have been asking again and again. See, the recent meeting, the presence of Meitei was there, the Nagas were there, the Meitei Muslims were there, and we were trying to, make up this real image of Manipur, and that is the reason why we have been requesting again and again, separate administration might not take part. So instead of going into this extent, why don't you and I, or starting from you and I, or from your politician, comes up with a conclusion where we can start talking? Because at the end of the day, those politicians, those elite people, high class people are not the ones who are suffering.
Okay.
People like you and me, but normal people who are suffering. So let's come to the conclusion. That's what we as a Manipuri, not as a Meitei, have been.
As you are inviting me to Imphal, I would invite you to come to Kanpur.
Okay.
Come to
Okay.
Kanpur.
Yeah, no worries.
Shalini, मुझको दिखाना एक मिनट. I want to be कबाब में हड्डी है. I want to come here. I want to come here. I want to say one thing. I really want to invite both of you to my studio. I'm inviting both of you to my studio.
I'm ready.
I'm saying when you are in Delhi, you are invited to my studio. I'm going to do a round table. I have decided, I'm openly announcing, यहाँ एक round table होगी. I'm going to finance it. I'm going to organize it. My input editor Brijesh, he is going to be the coordinating person. You people can get in touch. We will have a conversation in person. अगर हम लोग साथ बैठ सकते हैं, साथ चाय पी सकते हैं, साथ खाना खा सकते हैं, तो हम शांति की बात, पीस की बात क्यों नहीं कर सकते? Why can't we be the catalyst? Why do we TV studios and other people have to be the catalyst for creating animosity? उल्टा क्यों नहीं हो सकते? Why can't we have a day when both Brijesh and me decide, boss, आज मणिपुर इतना शांत है, there is no damn debate, चलो कुछ और करते हैं. I think that's the best, that would be the best day of our newsroom, when we have nothing to debate on Manipur, except कि वहाँ एक सड़क का उद्घाटन हो रहा है, and Brijesh says, यार, that is not much to count for in news. I think that will be the good day.
That will be good day, but I think, it will be a long time before you arrive at that good day.
Huh?
We don't have airport to come to Delhi.
No, you come to Delhi? You come to
We
Delhi?
don't have airport.
अरे कहाँ एयरपोर्ट कहाँ?
You are in Bangalore. From Bangalore you can come to Delhi.
No, you can come to Delhi.
Let me quote. It is Misao.
No, I'm saying this with all sincerity. You have to come to Delhi. I will organize a roundtable. We will sit across. The food is on me, the lunch is on me, and I'll serve good Manipuri food. I ensure you.
I'm ready.
Including red rice. I ensure you. There'll be good Manipuri food. अब ये मत कहिएगा कि कुकी फूड है, मेथी फूड है. I am not that much of a connoisseur, but I'll ensure you get the food of the home. I'm inviting both of you. Please come. Brijesh. Only thing which just really strikes me is that these are sane voices. People, they have their point. Hasina, you are also invited. Again, it's not a boys' club. I have to make this a point. You are invited, and you will be part of our round table. आपके बिना तो पूरी नहीं होगी, because you are one of the few people who started from, I remember, 6th of May. One of the few people who started to come to my program. And we have decided as a commitment to do it every day. Every day. We will take up one issue, we will ensure that one day in this studio, the small studio, we'll have Kuki lawmakers, we will have Naga lawmakers, we have Meitei lawmakers. And we will have a conversation, because I think the whole idea is to have a conversation. It is to have a conversation.
I really want to bring on board, if these two leaders who are there right now on this panel are willing to have this conversation, we as a civil society organization who works both in Charachangpur, who works with the Meitei and the Kuki and the displaced people of Myanmar, before my next trip next month to Myanmar back, I would really, really love to bring the civil society in that roundtable discussion. If you guys are up for it, we will mobilize the civil society in Manipur. Our state partner, New Life Foundation.
Up for it, Hasina, up for it. Up for it. Once the show is over, I'm going to give you a call and we'll speak about it. I want the visuals to play. I want the visuals to play for the audience, which we had gathered in morning. Those visuals, which are slightly disturbing, because, I wanted to show them how civil equipment is being used. This is something which army should be careful about, and army, the security forces should take good cognizance of it. That this is very disturbing. That what is though I must say that army has done a fabulous job. Security forces, despite certain things in place which do not allow them that freedom, they have done a splendid job. And I think it just tells us that if there is some political initiative, some crackdown can happen, some opening can happen. But what it requires, Brijesh, is a political initiative.
Gautam Adani, one of the richest men in the world, or a business honcho, accused of manipulating the market.
अदानी जी 609 नंबर से दूसरे नंबर तक कैसे पहुंचे? सिर्फ एक सवाल पूछा, नरेंद्र मोदी जी, आपका अदानी जी से रिश्ता क्या है?
He has given the space, the railways, the airport, which he has no experience also. So the country's interest has been compromised.
Government has been very clearly supporting few industrial groups, including Adani's industrial group.
Target Adani, streaming now.
Our climate is changing.
Climate change.
Climate change. Climate change. Climate change.
The earth is getting warmer.
We are in a life or death struggle for our own safety today and our survival tomorrow.
Rising sea levels are damaging coastlines.
We're standing at an inflection point in world history.
This is not about some expensive, politically correct green act of bunny hugging or blah, blah, blah.
Climate change is the defining crisis of our time.
People and nations are suffering now.
And every day we delay, the cost of inaction increases.
Our planet has been wounded.
All is not well with our world.
Of course, we can still turn this around.
Let this be the start of a decade of transformative action.
The impacts of climate threaten to disrupt global food supplies. What we need is a new biotechnological revolution. A playbook that decouples growth from emissions. That revolution is gaining momentum.
We will unleash the creative power of our best scientists to build a better world.
Food. It's a fundamental right for the sustenance of human life. But it could soon run out. At the rate that we are eating,